Good evening, I'm Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. Yesterday, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin revealed his new cabinet lineup, and now they've all started their respective duties after being sworn in this evening. This means the Perikatan National government is in full effect. One day after Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin revealed his cabinet lineup, the ministers and deputy ministers were sworn in today before the young di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah at Istana Melawati in Putrajaya.
Ampun tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun, sembah patik, pohon diampun. Patik pohon limpah berkenan, ke bawah duli yang maha mulia, Seri Paduka Baginda Tuanku, untuk patik memulakan istiadat pengurniaan surat cara pelantikan dan istiadat mengangkat sumpah jawatan dan setia serta sumpah simpan rahsia oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri-Menteri dan Yang Berhormat Timbalan-Timbalan Menteri Persekutuan. Ampun tuanku, titah dijunjung.
Muhyiddin has 31 ministers and 38 deputy ministers in his cabinet, with 4 acting as senior ministers. Yesterday, Muhyiddin said with the appointment of 4 senior ministers, there will not be a need for a deputy prime minister. One of the senior ministers is Azmin Ali, one of the key figures who contributed to Pakatan Harapan's downfall. He led a faction within PKR who eventually left and backed the new Perikatan National government, 10 of which have either been appointed ministers or deputy ministers. Muhyiddin described the lineup as a functional cabinet which would deliver its services in a focused and effective manner. Not all of those named in Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's cabinet are elected members of Dewan Rakyat. This means they would need to be appointed senators first, and that took place this morning.
Dengan kata-kata itu, maka selesailah majlis mengangkat sumpah pada hari ini.
6 new senators have been sworn in at the Dewan Negara this morning following the appointments as ministers and deputy ministers in Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's cabinet yesterday. The swearing-in ceremony took place before Dewan Negara President S.A. Vigneswaran at the Parliament building in Kuala Lumpur. The 6 new senators are Federal Territories Mufti Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri, who was appointed as Minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of religious affairs, and former CIMB Group CEO Tengku Zahrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, who is appointed as the Finance Minister. The others are MCA Deputy President Dr. Ma Hang Sun, MCA Vice President Lim Bang Hong, BN Executive Secretary Ahmad Mazrizal Muhammad, and Armada International Relations Bureau Chairperson Wan Ahmad Faisal Wan Ahmad Kamal, all of which have been appointed deputy ministers of various ministries. Mufti Zulkifli said his appointment will be a test for him.
Ini semua adalah kurniaan Tuhanku. Dia nak uji aku sama ada aku syukur atau aku kufur. Justru ia merupakan satu amanah dan tanggungjawab yang wajib dipikul dengan sebaik-baiknya.
Out of these 6 new senators who will be taking charge of various portfolios in the new government is a very prominent banker who will now be taking over Lim Guaning's previous position. He may have been one of the country's top bankers, but now he has been appointed as the next finance minister in Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's cabinet. Tengku Zahrul Tengku Abdul Aziz will be leaving an incredibly lucrative job as Chief Executive Officer of CIMB Group Holdings Berhad for his new role in the government.
To be very honest, like I said, I'm very humble, but of course very surprised by the appointment. As you know, I'm not a politician, right? And you know, for me, I'll do my best to see what we can do to help the country. I mean, we know these challenging times, so like I said, I will start working today after the swearing in as minister later this afternoon.
Speaking to reporters after his swearing in as a senator, he said his focus as the next finance minister is on the economic challenges ahead. Zahrul also stressed that he was not a politician and hoped to keep politics out of the finance ministry. Zahrul's appointment comes at a time when Malaysia is grappling with poor exchange rates, falling interest rates and slower economic growth due to the COVID-19 outbreak, the China-US trade war and plunging oil prices. Now that Perikatan Nasional is in Putrajaya, the opposition has an issue with some of the appointments, namely the appointment of past MP Siti Zailah. Past MP Siti Zailah Muhammad Yusof has been appointed the Deputy Minister in the Women, Family and Community Development Ministry, and this has triggered alarm bells for Segambut MP Hannah Yeo. Hana expressed fear that the national roadmap to fight child marriage may hit a speed bump with Zaila's appointment. On Twitter, Yo referred to Siti Zaila's track record of endorsing child marriages, particularly in a parliamentary debate in July 2017. At the time, Siti Zaila challenged Theoni Cheng's right to comment on child marriage for Muslims, saying, quote, "We cannot dispute marriage as stated by Kulai, who disputed why Islam allows underage marriage. For me, this is the guidance of Allah." Siti Zaila said that Muslims never disputed the choice of Buddhist monks and Catholic priests not to get married, although this is viewed as a fundamental right. She then went on to say there is a difference between sexual offences against children as an act of violence and underage marriage. She described the latter as a blessing. The National Strategic Plan to address the causes of underage marriage was launched in January 2020 to curb the problem at grassroots levels. Then Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, who launched the plan, said it encompassed 7 objectives, 17 strategies and 58 programs to address these causes in the next 5 years. When Dr. Mahathir Mohamad was the 4th Prime Minister back in the day, Anwar Ibrahim was in line to become the 5th Prime Minister. But things didn't go according to Anwar's plan. Fast forward to after GE14, when Dr. Mahathir was made the 7th Prime Minister, Anwar was pretty certain he would be the 8th Prime Minister. Well, that didn't go to Anwar's plan either, but that doesn't mean they've given up hope. 9th PM maybe? PKR President Anwar Ibrahim will likely be named as the coalition's candidate for Prime Minister if the federal opposition Pakatan Harapan makes a successful comeback, according to Wan Azizah Wan Ismail. The former Deputy Prime Minister, in an interview with Bloomberg, said her husband would likely be Harapan's Prime Minister candidate rather than appointing former Premier Dr. Mahathir Mohamad for a 3rd round in office. Given the recent turn of events, Wan Azizah said Harapan will be ready for any circumstances, including the possibility of facing snap elections. Asked if she would be open to receiving those who had defected from Harapan, Wan Azizah reportedly said, quote, "Betrayal is quite difficult to accept in any circumstance. Betrayal is still betrayal." With the latest developments, Harapan had indicated their lawmakers would challenge Muhyiddin's appointment in Parliament through a vote of no confidence. Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin has announced his new cabinet lineup after days of political chaos. So we asked several people in the Klang Valley what they thought of the situation and what they hope to see from the new government.
I hope that Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin will give the best. Okay, will give the best as our new PM for our rakyat and also for our country.
They had a chance, but instead of concentrating on the economy, on our welfare, they were busy fighting each other. All the politicizing, infighting. So they mess up. Frankly speaking, they really mess up. They did not look out to improve our life. They were busy fighting for their position. So I'm very sad.
Hopefully the new government burst our economy. That is the most .
Hak kita sebagai rakyat, kita dapat sama lah. Dari segi macam pekerjaan, pembelajaran dan kalau nak buat bisnes.
Kita kan banyak kaum kat sini kan. Kau boleh kita macam dulu baliklah. Semua kaum kita bersatu padu.
Clean government, graduates get jobs, foreign investment pours into our country, the prices of goods come down. That's all what we want.
Coming up next, Italy is under lockdown. The Sudanese Prime Minister survives an assassination attempt. All that and more after this. Our next story is brought to you by Blue Air. Things have been worsening in Italy, and when you thought things couldn't get any worse, Italy has placed itself under lockdown. The Italian Prime Minister announced on Monday that the whole of Italy will be placed under lockdown until next month. The announcement made Italy the first country to restrict movement nationwide in a dramatic new clampdown aimed at halting the rapidly spreading coronavirus in Europe's worst affected country.
There will not be any more Zone 1 or Zone 2 in the country. It will be Italy. Italy is a protected zone.
Zona protetta.
The restrictions, which ban all public gatherings and require people not to travel except for work or emergencies, comes after a jump in deaths from the coronavirus. The death toll in Italy was reported at 463 on Tuesday morning, and there were over 9,000 confirmed cases. More than 110,000 people have been infected globally by the coronavirus, and over 4,000 have died. Around the world, flights have been cancelled, communities and cruise liners isolated, and concerts and trade fairs postponed. While some countries such as China and Italy have turned to drastic measures to try to delay the spread of the virus, others remain in a containment phase, where individual cases can still be tracked. Financial markets have also been thrown into turmoil, with an oil price slump on Monday, adding to fear of a global recession. We often celebrate many occasions in life, but for the Sudanese, the Prime Minister surviving an assassination attempt is also a cause for celebration. Crowds celebrated in the streets of Khartoum yesterday after Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok survived an apparent assassination attempt. Officials said that Hamdok's convoy was targeted by an explosion and gunfire as he headed to work on Monday morning in the capital.
The Prime Minister was not injured. Neither was the group accompanying him, except one member of the entourage who was slightly injured in his shoulder as he fell off his motorbike. The Prime Minister is now completing his duties in his office. The security authorities have started their investigation into the incident and those behind it.
The Sudanese Security Council condemned the attack and said it would seek the help of friendly countries to investigate it and bring the suspects to justice. After Sudan's ex-president Omar al-Bashir was ousted last year, Hamdok was appointed to lead a transitional government under a power-sharing agreement between the military and civil groups. Relations between civilians and the military have been tense, and the government has encountered resistance as it tries to implement economic reforms. Soon after, Bashir's overthrown authorities said they had stopped several coup attempts by military officers. The transitional period is due to last until late 2022. Hamdok tweeted that he was in good shape and that what had happened will not stand in the way of change in Sudan. And here are more headlines from today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching. But before we go, we show you how a group of children in Taiwan are using Lego to fight the spread of the coronavirus.